Greetings, redheads. Thank you for joining me in another episode of your favorite show, the one, the only Red's View. Of course, I'm your gracious host, Jay Red, and I'm joined by, yet again, the cultivating culturalist theorist himself, the one and only CJ. What is up, bro?
Man, what's happening, Jay? How you living?
I'm living good, man, and I'm living in color, actually. You know what I'm saying? As they said back in the 90s, you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
But yeah, I'm doing good. How about you, bro?
I can't complain, man. It's Drake week.
Drake
What is
week?
there to complain about?
Man. And if you're watching this right now, of course, Drake is on the front cover along with J. Cole, Cardi, and Lil Baby. And the title of this show is Have Rappers Become Lazy? Have rappers become lazy? Now, we're going to talk about Drake for the majority of this episode. So all you Drake stands, be ready. We're going to talk about him. You know what I'm saying? Because his album is out. He has this beef going on with Joe Budden, all this good stuff, right? Before I begin this video, shout out to all the new subscribers. Y'all been making these subs go up and they continue to climb and climb. So all the new ones that I've got the past week, man, y'all been showing me love, especially some of the ones I got today. Make sure, if you have not already, subscribe to the channel, youtube.com/RedsView. Also, you need to head over to Culturalist Theory and subscribe there because they views are always up. They subscribers are going up as well. So yeah, make sure you do that. And what else? And hit the like button. Please hit that like button or the dislike button because that helps the algorithm. If you want these videos to be shared, people be like, how can we get it to grow and all this? Share it and hit that like button because that goes a long way. And it's free 99. And if you're feeling generous, you can always donate to the Cash App, $JAYR3D. But most importantly, right here, hit that sub for your boy, hit that like button or dislike button. If you're on Twitter right now, make sure you retweet this. And if you're watching currently on Facebook, make sure you hit that share button. Shout out to all my subscribers and new YouTube viewers who hit that share button because I be seeing them and I love it. I don't know where the hell y'all be sharing them to, but I love it. All right. So, man, let's go ahead and get into what has been going on recently. So if you've been hiding under a rock, you may not know that Drake and Joe Budden have been it hadn't even been a back and forth. No. I wouldn't even call that. I addressed this on my previous video that I released, I believe, Sunday. A lot of y'all been chiming in, commented on that. So I'm assuming some of y'all gonna be watching this. I told you we was gonna be talking about this later this week. But recently, Birdman and Drake's dad had hopped in the beef with Joe Budden, and I say beef very loosely, okay? Now this is all from a man's opinion, not only his opinion, but other people's opinion on the show. And let me see if I got that. Here it goes. Okay, I'm not gonna show exactly what Birdman said because he used some profanity and stuff, and I ain't feel like honestly finding that clip because it's a bunch of other ones. But this is what Drake's dad said right here, if you can see. He says it's a effing shame that a young artist can't do his own thing and enjoy his glory without an old hating mother effer trying to bust his bubble because he has nothing going on. And to put a mention or put a limit on what age anyone should be dealing with, which is none of their GD goddamn business, as long as they're legal age. He continued, I'm sick of these old effing haters effing with my son. If you don't like what he does, keep it moving, mother effer. And he's not bothering you. Oh, yeah. So Mr. Dennis Graham was very upset, wasn't he?
For sure. He was tight.
He was tight. Birdman had something to say about it as well. Birdman was like, he posted in his story, right? He said something, I forgot. But my thing is, man, this is all over an opinion.
Right.
Let me ask you this, CJ. Did you watch the full segment of when Joe Budden was talking about Drake?
Not the full segment. I only saw the clips of what's been shared online about him saying he wanted him to grow up in the music and stop kicking it with 25-year-olds, XYZ. But I didn't watch the entire clip or episode. Okay.
If anybody watched the entire segment, like some of the people who commented on my video, he was praising Drake a lot.
I heard.
He was praising Drake. It was literally constructive criticism. Nothing he said was off the wall. It was just like a coach giving you feedback, but saying you're the greatest player out there. Like, you're the greatest player out there, CJ, but you lacking in your free throws and your 3-point shot. You know what I'm saying? Like, you looking tired out there. You know, you need to hit the gym. You need to work on your jumper. You need to. That's all that it was. But CJ, you are still the best out here. That's what he like. I was so it was constructive. And honestly, I feel like if Drake wouldn't have said shit, you know what I'm saying, or like responded in that manner, it wouldn't have blown up like this. He struck a nerve, and I feel like what Joe Budden was saying, what he said was true. It resonated with Drake. When I say true, it is perspective, but for Drake to respond in the manner that he did, he had to struck a nerve and felt like, damn, you know. Now, granted, this could have been built up frustration because I know he can't stand Joe at this point.
Right.
But I thought they kissed and made up and all that. You know, they were dissing each other a couple of years ago. But yeah, now he got his daddy jumping in it. He got Birdman jumping in. I'm just waiting on Jay Prince to make an OG call to jump in. Like, is all of this shit necessary, CJ? Let me know.
No, it's not. And I am 2 seconds away from saying this is all for pub. Because I kind of felt that way. I didn't get that way until Birdman and his dad jumped in.
Right.
That's when I was like, this seems like overkill.
Yeah.
Now, Drake saying something, of course, we're basing this all off the clip. Nobody, this is not just Drake and Birdman and Dennis Graham that fall for this. The majority of the internet falls in this same trap where we only see the clip or the headline. We don't read the article. We don't watch the full context. They're not the only ones to fall victim of that. Fact. In this instance, I've heard that similar things, that Joe Budden was actually giving him props and that this was just a piece that, you know, but this is why they clip it up. Let's be honest. This is why Joe Budden clips this piece and puts it out there and then put out the entire cut. So he got what he asked for, you know what I'm saying, which was a reaction. I thought Drake's reaction was actually entertaining. I thought it was pretty funny. I'm not mad at either side. Joe is entitled to his opinion, although I don't agree with his assessment, and Drake is entitled to defend his art. So I get both sides. It's a thin line between opinions. It's a tough day when someone's opinion, where they didn't slander you completely or your character, gets picked apart and gets roasted like this and attacked like this. That's a slippery slope, though. I'm gonna be honest, because we're on here giving our opinions, or we will in the moment, and neither one of us are like, come see me, Drake. We're not doing those goofy stuff like that. We're just gonna give our opinions from a fan of hip hop perspective, and that should be allowed.
Right. And Joe Budden is a fan of Drake.
So,
you know what I'm saying? Drake is a fan of Joe Budden. And I'm actually going to show you something that's very ironic. Drake used to be a Joe Budden stan, it seems like.
Absolutely.
So listen to this clip.
I'm happy. I'm honored. I'm honored to be around you, man. This is the first.
Yo, come on.
Okay, so I can't be honest on your network here. I can't be honest to your fans and say I'm honored to be around you. We all used to listen to you, so I don't need. You need to take. That's what you need. You need to learn how to take compliments.
I think I take compliments.
No, you don't take compliments, bro. You think everybody bullshitting you.
I'm jaded, right?
I got this. Man. I'm genuinely saying it's an honor to be around Joe Budden. It's the first time we've met. You know what I'm saying, formally. I'm happy.
So you hear that, and listen to this clip.
It is like fast forward.
Fair you.
It is like fast forward. It sounds like night and day. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, you used to stretch out the vowels. Yeah. Like, let's be honest. Yeah. But, you know, moving forward, it changed. Was that stemming from that situation with Wayne?
I think that was just the times, man. It was like finding myself. Mm-hmm. You know, you can always hear a rapper finding themselves if you give them more than like 5 or 10 years, you know? So yeah, I mean, I used to rap like Budden back in the day. Like with the way I used to try and get like certain flows off, and then
bars.
For sure. Hey, look, it's okay, but here's the thing. And we saw this a couple of years ago with Chris Rock and Will Smith. We know that Will Smith's anger was not really directed toward Chris Rock. Fact. We know that was brewing, and that was coming from different directions. He was tired of a whole bunch of other stuff getting thrown at him. I feel like this is a similar situation. Drake is not. Joe is catching the heat for a lot of things that have been in Drake's ear for the past year, 2, 3, and that he hasn't clapped back at, and he just so happens to be the person to catch the heat. Now, the dad and Birdman that's extra. That's just icing on top of the cake. But I think that's the case with this situation.
Yeah, I mean, Drake has been hearing this since he came out. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
No pun intended. Came out with albums. Speaking of which, like, did you hear that line he said on his album when he was talking about some I think I'm bi because you're like one of the guys?
Yeah, that was no, that was a. But he gives one or two cringe-worthy lines an album though.
Yeah,
that's on par.
We'll get to that, but the thing is, man, everybody has a right to an opinion, and
sure.
Joe Budden didn't sound like a hater. If people watch Joe Budden's podcast, I tap in and tap out sometime, you know, I don't, because he be having 3-hour shows.
Yeah.
I'm not finna sit and watch that shit for 3 hours, but I like his. I've been liking Joe Budden's content since he was on Everyday Struggle. He gives great perspective. It's just that all the yelling and the fact that he is a retired rapper, he has that negative stigma on him, to where people just like to paint him off as this old man Ebro type of hater. You know what I'm saying? Which it isn't the case. All of us, like, I'm a hip hop artist, hip hop recording artist, been doing it for years, right? And I put out quality material. I feel like, does everybody like it? You know, everybody ain't gonna like every single thing that you do, but I was a fan of the art, of the culture first, way before I started rapping.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So thing is, shitting on Joe Budden and going at him the way Drake did, I felt like it was sassy. I feel like it was emotional, and I can see what you're saying. A lot of people felt like it was just built up frustration, and you could read between the lines and see, okay, Joe Budden, he wasn't really aiming it at Joe Budden. I think he needed to aim it at somebody, because, you know, he just went off on Charlemagne. Well, I ain't gonna say go off on Charlemagne,
right?
But
a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, a couple of weeks ago. Shout out to Go816. Shout out to you, player. Thank you for tapping in. But you know, he had something to say about Charlemagne judging his song with SZA, which was Charlemagne said was true. People weren't talking about that song.
They weren't. It wasn't getting a lot of buzz, but it did debut #1 on the streaming charts though.
Which don't mean, I mean, it means something, but don't at the same time. Like, of course, his name is Drake. He's going to chart, right?
Yeah.
With streaming and everything like that, you know how everything works. Of course, like Nicki Minaj. Has Nicki Minaj been putting out good music recently?
That's debatable.
But she charts.
Yeah.
Good to who? Right. But what I'm saying is, if I got literally like 500,000 solid fans that are going to stream everything I do multiple times throughout the day, I'm going to chart.
No, yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? So Drake by default is going to chart.
Yeah.
Like, to me, charting means something, but not as much as it did back 15 years ago.
Charlemagne reference, man, no one in my group chat has mentioned it, fam. Let's step out of our group chat box. I know that that's our safe space, that's our comfort zone, but there is an entire world out here outside of our group chat. And there may be a space in some city, some state, some county that rise to this song crazy. Who the hell knows? I don't know. I think the song is just okay to be me personally.
Right.
I think okay, but
typically when Drake releases a song, it has some buzz behind it. Like, you hear people talk about it. With the SZA, it came and went. Like, I saw that it dropped. PM sent it to me. I didn't hear nothing special about it, but I'm like, well, maybe, you know, it's him and SZA. People will listen to it. I saw it charted. But when Charlemagne said that, I thought about it. I'm like, yeah, like literally the only thing I saw people talk about. Nobody trashed the song, but the only thing I saw people talk about was his slave line. You know, put you in chains like America. But that was it.
Yeah.
Like, usually I'm seeing it on my timeline somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
Well, he's not undefeated with the single. This happened to Jay. Anytime there was a chink, when Jay was on top, anytime there was a glimpse of a chink in the armor, people leaned into it, put the magnifying glass to it. If somebody got him on a verse, if the single didn't do well, if the album wasn't 10 mics, then we would lean into it. It's like, dog, every single that Drake puts out does not go crazy. Like, that's all I'm saying.
No, okay. Yeah, when you put it in that perspective, I get that. I get that. But it's unusual for a Drake.
True. He has more home runs than strikeouts.
Facts. For sure. Facts. And go, we finna get to that. We finna get to that. Trust me, we get into it. But all in all, this could be marketing. But what I'm about to bring up makes me feel like it may not be marketing. Okay. Just based on how this album is been received so far. But all together, like, I ain't gonna lie, when I saw Drake say something, then when I saw Dennis, his dad, say something. And then when I saw Birdman say something, I'm like, what the fuck? And like I said, Jay Prince is gonna say something either, any day now.
I don't know what he waiting on.
I know. I'm like, what the hell? So I was like, it's not that deep. Like, for what he said.
I could see Birdman missing that. Let's be honest. I can see that going over his head.
but it just, going over his head. But like his dad, like all these old hating. I'm like, it's people who hate on Drake all day, every day. He don't be up under their posts. It's plenty of people outside of Joe Budden who really hate on Drake.
Yeah, for sure.
Literally talk shit about Drake. Charlamagne has talked shit about Drake for the long. Joe Budden, I mean, he's dissed him in rap records, you know what I'm saying? But that was more of like a bar for bar thing. And like I said, they kissed and made up. Yeah. And so that's
the fix might be in, bro. The fix might be in with that. I'm gonna keep it a buck.
That's true. I wouldn't put it past it because like you can't put nothing past anybody at this point. What you say? Shout out to TRM Williams. Shout out to you, bro. You said Drake will always try because his name of his buzz, but he hasn't made any real music since Nothing Was the Same. Oh, we're gonna get into it. Just hold your horses. All right, because I want to talk about this. CJ, For All the Dogs is the worst Drake album ever.
No, hell no.
Hold on. Let me show you why I just made that title. Let me show you this. According to Metacritic, Drake's For All the Dogs becomes his lowest scored album on Metacritic.
Okay.
If you look at the ranks right here, you got So Far Gone at 81, Thank Me Later, Take Care, Nothing Was the Same. If you're reading this, blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
And For All the Dogs is at the very, very bottom of the list. Now, of course, opinions are like assholes. Everybody got one.
And they all full of shit. Go.
They all full of shit. But for this to be his lowest scored album, it's not just because of Metacritic. I've been seeing a lot of people talk shit about the album, calling it trash, which I don't think is trash per se.
Right.
I just don't think it's a good album. But this is in recent memory, because let's keep it a buck. Every time Drake drops an album, it's always mixed reviews. That's why.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's always mixed reviews.
Thank you.
Granted. However, CJ, this is the first, and when I say album, I'm not talking about More Life. I feel like that was more of a playlist, dark demo, mixtape, whatever the hell that was.
Yeah.
I'm talking about Views. Nothing Was the Same, like his album. This is the first one where I literally only liked one song. Like a song. This is me. CJ, every Drake album, typically there are at least 5 songs that I add to my playlist. Typically. Okay. This is starting with Thank Me Later all the way on. Well, I ain't really like too many songs. I'm gonna keep it, but I ain't really like too many songs with Thank Me Later. But from Take Care to Nothing Was the Same, if you're reading this, Views, even though I think I couldn't stand Views as an album, but he still had at least 5 joints on there. That's what I do. I pick and choose from Drake. Drake never fails. Now, I don't like his albums per se, but I love his music. I'm a Drake fan. Like, I love his songs.
Okay.
Like, not just singles, but I love his songs. I love his collaborations. I've never been a fan of Drake's album. To this day, back before streaming, I used to purchase Drake songs. I would never purchase a Drake album. I've never owned a Drake album. I own Kendrick Lamar albums. I own J. Cole albums. I don't own not one Drake album.
Wow.
So the thing is, like, from all the feedback surrounding this album, including Joe Budden, I haven't really been seeing anybody. I mean, some people, have been saying it's fire, but it's typical Drake fans, So do you consider this one of his worst albums or his worst album ever?
It's absolutely not his worst album. Here's the thing. I'll give you the perspective. I'm glad you set the table to kind of set where you were as a Drake consumer.
Mm-hmm.
You say, I'll pluck at least 5 joints from the album. I'm not really into the whole body of work. Okay, cool. I'm into the whole body of work. I'm a fan of his. I'm not a delusional fan. I will tell you if a song is trash or if an album isn't it. Honestly, Nevermind did nothing for me.
Yeah, Goat said it's the word. I don't count that because that's okay. Rap album. Let's be specific.
That's fair.
Rap album.
Okay.
Rap album. Okay.
Because he experimented, and honestly, when you experiment, what kind of if it's whack, we'll act like it didn't happen. If it worked like 808s, then we'll give you extra bonus points.
Facts. Okay,
that's fine. Rap album, I still think it's too soon. I revisit CLB the least out of all his projects. That's me personally, but there are some joints on there. I will say, I think the reason why he's getting the reception of this one, because there is more, and the word that's being used is mid. I haven't seen trash.
I've seen it.
I mean, but you're gonna get that. You're gonna get a certain level of trash when anybody comes out. Yeah. You're gonna get a classic. You're gonna get people gassing it on both extremes. It is in the lower bottom of his albums as of today, as of 72 hours after it came out. It is in the bottom tier,
right?
But to me, that doesn't make it bad. I feel like people are too quick and too excited to call something someone's worst or toward the bottom, when I believe he has a strong catalog, in my opinion. But I am a fan. I'm here for the rap shit, the singing shit, the island shit. I'm here for the different vibes. That those don't bother me. Like, you know what I'm saying? But I understand it takes time to grow. That's why his music grows on you. There's some people's music that you can't get in one sitting on the first. You just can't. There's just too many elements to it. I think Kendrick's is like that. I think Cole's is like that. I think Jay was like that. You want to listen to Gucci Mane's album one time, you're going to get you heard everything. There's nothing, you didn't miss a damn thing on the first list.
But let me ask you this, though. When movies come out, and if it's a bad movie, people rate that was a bad movie. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
Some people, but it's not a lot of that. Well, some people is like, okay, you got to watch it again, but a lot of people ain't finna say you got to let it marinate, and it just came out 72 hours ago. You know what I'm saying?
True.
Like,
it
a movie is just as long as an album, longer than an album. Movies be 2 hours plus sometimes. So what's the difference between an album getting shitted on and a movie getting shit on? Because I see movies get shitted on all the time, and we just roll with it for the most part.
They're presented differently. It's something about something being visual that makes it easier to catch what you need to catch and get the message across.
True.
If I'm listening to a 23-track album with an artist who honestly wears 4 or 5 different hats, bro, I'm not catching every metaphor. I'm not catching every double entendre. I'm not catching every beat switch, every beat transition, every interlude, every low-key shot. I'm not catching all of that. I'm not catching especially with him, because he has a lot of different audiences, and people say that he's being stretched too thin. That's a knock I'm hearing.
Yeah.
In my opinion, it's not the audiences, it's the different vibes of the music. If I'm listening to his album at 7 a.m., I may need the turned up shit. And if the turned up shit is sandwiched in between the slow stuff,
true,
I'm not in the mood to hear the slow stuff. So the initial listen is going to be a turn off. Like,
true.
It's hard to like really take in all of that when it's this. He's a roller coaster with the music. I'm not in the mood to hear all that stuff in one listen.
That's true.
So I think people need to take that in consideration. That's why his stuff grows. Take Care got the same reception, bro. Views got the same reception.
Yeah, Views definitely. Thank Me Later had the same. I remember when Thank Me Later came up. That's what I'm gonna go to that topic, guys. I got a very good testament to make. But hey, TRM said he heard it twice now. Trash. He said it was trash. It's one of his worst. And GOAT 816. This album feel like a Chris Brown album, meaning there's no standout songs. Everything is just mid, no replay value. Now, I will say this, like I said before, there was no replay value as far as the songs that I like. And it scared me because I'm like, damn, typically from a Drake album, and I'm not a fan of Drake albums, I'm usually able to pick and choose, and it's like 5 songs. So if somebody says, hey, that was a dope album, I'd be like, well, I heard 5 songs off of it. So,
right.
I'm not going to listen to the rest of that shit. But I was on the road to Mobile because I just saw Jackson State whoop up on Alabama A&M, but on the road. So I heard Drake's album that morning and then did what I had to do during the day. And then I said, okay, I'm going to give it a listen because it's 23. I think it's like 23 songs.
23. That's a lot, bro.
Oh, God. I was like, man, so I ain't got nothing to do. I'm going to go on the road. Man, I had to stop playing it because it's just not. And this is before I heard Joe Budden's comments about the maturity thing.
Right.
I agree with what Joe Budden was saying as far as his maturity. Now, the thing is this. It's not about him collaborating with Lil Yachty or young folks.
Yeah.
For example, the J. Cole track is my favorite track on the album. The only track I really, really like and I couldn't stop listening to.
That's the layup, though.
Yeah. But the thing is, look at the content and what J. Cole and Drake was talking about. At the end, when the beat switch up, yeah, it sounded good when Drake was rapping, but he over here naming women he got on his phone. Charlene, Darlene, sandwiched in like some sardines. It's like, bro, that's what the hell you talking about at 30, about to be 37? Because look, when I write, you know, and it's nothing I try to do, but it's like, it's growth, bro. Wayne and Drake need to grow the fuck up musically. Now Drake's content needs to grow up. I'm not saying his sound,
right?
You know, if you get what I'm saying, like he still sounds good. And I'm not calling the album trash. I don't think it's trash.
Right.
I just don't think nothing stands. I'm more so with Go 816. I think it's like you could throw it on. It's not garbage. You ain't gonna turn this shit off, but it's nothing that stands out. And what people will say is that, well, Drake knows how to adapt with the times. The times are trash right now.
Yeah,
so the current music is not good, and we're gonna talk about that later. The current music isn't good. So what is he keeping up with? If the keeping up with the music, if the music isn't good, that means that his music ain't gonna be good.
So several things to unpack. One, I'm glad you said you don't mind him tapping in with the youth, because I feel like for decades in hip hop, people have been asking the elder statesmen and the vets to collab with the youngsters and embrace the youngsters, and people have been asking for that. Fact. So don't watch it happen and all of a sudden be like, man, why is he doing songs with Yeet?
Right.
Dog, like which one is it? Second, secondly, I can understand someone saying that there's no standout joints. That's a take I can understand. Typically with the Drake album, there are at least 3 or 4 that you get off the wham.
I'm talking about 5 though.
Possibly 5 off wham.
Right.
That's fair. This one does need a couple of more listens. Because to me, I like the album, but it is not one of his best. That does not make it trash, though.
Not trash.
Unless you just don't like Drake. Which, if you don't like Drake, I don't understand why you're listening. Like I don't. Or if you only like one version of Drake, why are you listening to the whole album and commenting on it? That's what's confusing to me. Okay. I had people hit me at 6:20. I swear to you, I can show the text. Someone texted me at 6:25 a.m. Friday morning. Bro, what is this? I said, fam, it's been out for. If it had came out at midnight, that would have been nasty. The fact that it just came out at 6 and you're texting me is disgusting.
Yeah.
I had other people text. I have another text at 8 a.m. I said, hey, man, y'all got to stop giving reviews before breakfast. Like, stop reviewing music on an empty stomach, bro. You're hangry. You're not mad at Drake. You're hangry. Like, the 3/4 of the country still sleep. We have to let the music. That's one thing I don't like about this new age of music. People are, and this happened within the last 7 to 8 years. People are quick. There's a race to call something classic or trash. Like there's a race.
True. That's true.
And I don't understand that. We don't have to do that. That's one thing I miss about the old days, because I'm old and washed. And we bought the CD and them $13.99, $15 with tax, that hurt. So you had no choice but to sit with it, bro. You sat with it for weeks and weeks. We didn't talk about it the day of, bro. Like nobody talked about it an hour after it came out. I promise you, that's not how it went back in the day.
And a lot of people was like, we could skip on CDs, but you really had no choice but to just listen to it, because you couldn't, before going to school, you know what I'm saying? Like you had to, like on high school, like if you had a car going into high school, you would listen to like a good 3 tracks before you get to school. You get out of school, go home, and you had a lot of time to digest it, and you didn't have and I have this habit too. I'll see a headline and I'll send it to people real quick. I won't post it, but I'll send it to people real quick, then go read the article.
You're right. You
know what I'm saying? We have that type of instinct in us to where we want to be first to say something. I feel like a lot of people, if I say this is trash, it's going to get a lot of traction. Fact. You know? So yeah.
This is a hot take. We're in a hot take society.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
It gets the clicks.
Yeah. You said the J. Cole track was straight, but Drake messed it up by coming back with the beat switch. Coming back with a horrible verse. Sorry, album is still trash.
I search one name and pull up 20 teens. That's what I wanted to get to. The whole maturation. Man, look, man. Why is Drake the only person being asked to mature in music? Now, you said Wayne and Drake, but I could sit here and argue. Pusha T came out with the clips in 2002.
True.
He has been talking dope for the last 21 years. If you had a kid the day that album came out, you are drinking beer with them watching the game right now. He has been talking dope this entire time. No one on earth has said, damn, bro, can you mature and talk about being married? Nobody said that. They come to him. He's a specialist. He's the 3-point shooter. He's a spot up 3-point shooter, stand in the corner. I don't need you trying to dunk. I don't need you trying to play make. I don't need you to do anything but do what we signed you to do. I go to him for that. I actually don't want him to switch it up, dude.
You don't?
He's best at that. This is what Drake is best at.
Well, but the thing is, we know he has potential with the content. Like you get an 8 a.m. in Charlotte, you get a 6 a.m. in Toronto, whatever. You can hear. We want to know. Like, dog, one of my favorite Drake songs ever is March 14th.
About the
when
son.
He talked about his son, that's one
hard.
of my favorite albums on that Scorpion album because
he gives you that.
It hit me heavy because I don't have kids, but he literally brought me into his world, and I got emotional listening to that.
I thought you were about to say you hiding a kid, bro.
No, I know, right? But it put me in the perspective because the story he told about,
his parents being divorced and not trying to follow that. Yeah,
and,
that was cold.
Then look at me, look at what I did.
That was cold.
And then it was after the bullshit that happened with Pusha T, and dog, I didn't want to present my son to the world like this. Now I got to fess up, got to talk about it. And I was just like that. And that's how he ended the album too.
Yeah, that was cold.
That was
with the Boys to Men joint fading out in the back. That shit was hard.
Yeah, bro. I was like, shit. But that's the Drake that I feel like Joe Budden wants, that a lot of his core fans want.
We don't want 10 of those on the album. Trust me. He can't make 10 of those on the album, bro. It's too much money behind him. He's got too many mouths to feed, and he's too capable of doing different. It's like telling Steph not to shoot from 30. Drake is a cheat code because he has the ability to do different styles at a high level.
So let me ask you that. If he did do that for an album, say that he put out Honestly Nevermind, he didn't have to do that shit, did he?
That was an experiment.
So why can't he experiment with this shit?
Man, nobody want to hear that shit, bro.
Who wanted to hear Honestly Nevermind?
I don't know. I still don't know. I ain't gonna hold you. Maybe it ring off in Abu Dhabi. I have no idea. But in the States, no, nobody want to hear that.
So my thing is this: if he can experiment, all artists should be able to experiment.
For sure.
Kanye did it with 808s. People experiment. Why not give a certain sector of your fans what they want? You can just call that bitch a mixtape if you want to. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Give that, and that could satisfy us just like you're satisfying everybody. I want that.
I feel like Jay used to get this because they'd be like, yo, bro, like, where's we need 10 of these. And he's like, yo, I've been transparent my whole career. Like, I may throw in 1 or 2. I'm not making a whole album of that because I got to keep the registers ringing, bro. Like, you're going to get these Change Clothes and these Pharrell and Neptune's joints, bro. He has the ability to do those 10 or 12. He can do that. I think we know that he can. Why are we asking him I don't get it, bro.
We know he can, and I think at this point, artists are supposed to grow. And I get what you're saying as far as his, maturity thing. He has too many people in his pockets, too many mouths to feed.
A lot.
But at the same time, I feel like he could still do both because he's that great.
He possibly could, and there's time. He's 36. I get it. He's been putting out a lot of content lately. It feels like he's 50. He's only 36, dude. People want a 444 at 36. You're not gonna get it.
Yeah, well, not a 444. It's just about some type of growth. Cole does it. Kendrick does it. We know, just like when Kendrick put out Damn, I understand some people didn't like that because they felt like he was trying to get radio play, but he was able to do it in his way. And a lot of people, that shit got a Pulitzer Prize. You know what I'm saying?
That shit slaps.
Yeah, it was definitely good. But this leads to my next thing. Does Drake have a classic album?
This question is one of the most disrespectful questions in hip hop.
Well, my homeboy Quentin Beasley, he tagged me in this. I've made several. I think like this might be my 3rd time talking about this on Red's View. Everything that you just said is the reason why Drake will never have a classic album. Too many variations, and I'm talking about from Thank Me Later. It's been the same complaint. I'm into this shit. He'll have a Jumpman song, and then all of a sudden he'll put on Just Hold On, We're Coming Home. And it's not just singing. He sings like he's a fucking Backstreet Boy. Like he makes
I hate that song, by the way. I'm not gonna lie.
Which one? Coming Home?
Yeah, I don't like that. That's why.
Yeah. But the thing is, I don't dislike that song. I just think that it would be on a better fit for another album. But it's hard. I was listening to Take Care today because all y'all Drake fans claim that y'all swear that that's a classic Drake album.
It is.
I listened to it, still don't see it, bro.
Man,
still don't see it,
bro. And you also have to take in consideration impact. This is what I take into consideration when it comes to classic album. Not only the material that's on the album, the content, obviously, big records, B-sides, staple joints. I need it. Did it have impact? Did it open doors? Did it change the game? Does it have lasting power, replay value? How does it hold up? All of those I'm taking into consideration. Take Care opened the door for this lane of music right there. For better or for worse, whatever side of the fence you fall on. It opened the door to that. The impact is crazy. We didn't know who The Weeknd was before. Most people, some people knew.
Know. True.
I give them that. Most people didn't know who The Weeknd was before this came out.
I still wouldn't call it a classic, but I see what you say. Like I can feel that. Shout out to Tim Oregon. He said, I feel Drake has put out a Substance album before Comeback was the reason most people related to Drake from the start. Yeah, absolutely. That's what everybody wants. They'll refer to his mixtapes. They'll refer to Comeback season. They refer to that. And I saw a post recently playing clips from Comeback season. Said this is the type of Drake I want. That's what got you here. It is what got him here. But if you're talking about a classic album, me being okay, I know that he does variations of stuff, and I like some of the variations he does. You can't do that for a whole album and expect for somebody to call that shit a classic.
You can. I'm gonna tell you why.
Okay.
If we're speaking to Drake fans,
okay.
I just saw the clip. NBA season's kicking off. They were in, social media is popping. They were in Toronto, and the Raptors social media account they went and asked people what their favorite Drake album was. They asked the team.
Right.
We got 6 different answers. They asked the whole team. We got 6 different answers.
How old are they?
Young. They were young. They're young. You got their NBA.
I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to hear nobody in their 20s talk about what a classic album is. I don't want to hear nobody in their 20s talking about what a classic album is. I'm sorry. Not the 20 years, not the 20-year-olds of today. Like these niggas are something. If by the time you were 18 and streaming was the thing, I don't want to hear you talk because they don't consume music like we do.
I can't discredit their opinion though. I understand what you're saying. I get it. They don't. It's not the same.
It's not the same. Yeah.
But if you ask a 40-year-old Drake fan, if you ask 5 people, you might get 5 different albums. You might get Take Care. You might get Views. You might get If You're Reading This.
Oh God, Views. What? Views. You like that album? Fascinating. You feel like how PM said that T.I. versus T.I.P. is a classic.
That's cap though. No one will agree with him. That's what I'm saying. I can hear people right now that will tell you Views is their favorite Drake album, bro.
Really?
For sure. You know when he references years later they call it a sleeper. You know what I'm saying? Boom, boom. That's the album that he's really talking about. The View on Views did a 180 after they let it marinate because the intro was all R&B and they were used to his intros being bars.
Right.
So when you switch up the vibe and the intro is R&B, people are like, whoa, what is it? Turned people off. And Controller and all of that shit.
I love those songs, but tell you
people didn't like them at first, though. That's what I'm saying.
People did like Controller and One Dance and all that.
The radio.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about radio.
Yeah,
radio we did. But Views is, before this album came out, I would say this is probably that was his worst one, in my personal opinion. Views was terrible. Eddie, shout out to Eddie. You said, I agree, bro. 20-year-olds don't have a clue what good music is. That's what I said. I don't want to hear no NBA players talking about that shit. And by the way, Kevin Durant A&R this album. That's probably why it wasn't good.
What does that even mean, man? Let's be honest. What did that mean, bro? He sat in the studio with $1 million speakers and was like, yeah, that's the one right there, bro. Everything sounds good in that motherfucker.
Right. It's Kevin Durant. No wonder this is the lowest rated album because of that shit.
I will say my personal favorite is Nothing Was the Same.
Mine too.
That's my personal favorite. But I think his class, and I could argue that's a classic. I could also argue Take Care is a classic. I could argue If You're Reading This is a classic because it's got 1, maybe 2 skips. I could argue the joint with him in Future is a classic because that opened doors for the collab. You didn't fuck with What a Time?
Not all
you
the
just
way.
don't like Drake then. You don't like Drake then.
No. I do. Man, I like
can't.
Drake. I love Drake. I love Drake.
No,
him and Future one, it was cool, but it wasn't what I expected. It was definitely
that was 11 for 11. They batted 1,000 on there, and they kicked down the door for collab. Look at the collab albums before that. It was Jay and Kanye. The end. After that, Eminem, everybody did one.
Eminem and Royce, Bad Meets Evil.
That didn't make no waves. Nobody's done that
shit. Well, I'm saying, but you had collab. But the thing is, Watch the Throne was before that.
Yeah, but people felt that was unattainable because those were two titans, and they were talking. Niggas didn't even have passports when they was talking about being in Paris, bro. Like they was talking big dog billionaire status shit. That was unattainable. The Future and Drake seemed more, oh, we could do this too. And so there's a whole wave of collab albums that came out after that. Wave.
I mean, it was, and I'll give him that, but I think that just because of who they were and how they came together. You know what I'm saying? That's what it was. But to me, classic is a very, very big thing. My favorite Drake album would be Nothing Was the Same. And I think that's a lot of people's. Like, I usually hear Take Care or Nothing Was the Same. Take Care for the R&B heads, Nothing Was the Same for the hardcore rap fans, because he gave more rap on Nothing Was the Same.
There's a lot of singing on Nothing Was the Same.
Well, so the transitional period, I'll say that. Came when Nothing Was the Same. That, like, when I heard Started From the Bottom, I was like, that don't sound like Drake. Like this sounds different. A couple of years later, we found out Quentin Miller was involved. Now
Nothing Was the Same though.
I believe that he ghost wrote. Now I'm not saying what has been proven. I'm just saying I believe Drake had some assistance on Started From the Bottom. In my opinion, that didn't sound like nothing Drake would make back then. This before I knew anything about Quentin Miller. I was like, he made a street anthem. Like Drake just sing, but I was like, he must be like the R. Kelly of rap. This nigga can do it all.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Like,
and we know that's not it's not possible. It's not possible.
Exactly, Eddie. I feel what you said. You said social media has ruined music. Social media age ruined music for the younger generation. It gave everyone a platform. Yep. I agree with that. And again, GOAT 816 says that Nothing Was the Same. He feel like it's a classic. Now,
I agree.
It's debatable. I don't feel honestly that Drake has like Drake doesn't have an album to me that I could press play and let it play all the way through. You know who does? Kendrick, J. Cole. Now,
what's the Cole album?
Forest Hill Drive.
Okay, yeah.
That's the only one for me.
I agree.
Now his mixtapes are a different thing.
Yeah.
The warm up, Friday Night Lights. I can play those all the way through. But as good as J. Cole is, because J. Cole as a rapper is my favorite out of those big three. Kendrick is my favorite artist as far as making albums.
Okay.
Kendrick J. Cole's the best rapper. Kendrick is the best album maker. Drake is the best overall artist.
That's fair. People wouldn't disagree with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think you could argue. Well, number one, let's be clear. So Far Gone is a classic.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Okay, man. I was gonna have a heart attack, bro. If you sat here and told me that one.
I give you that. Yeah.
But also, two things can be true. I don't believe you have to have no skips to be a classic.
That's true. I mean, I get that. But Drake has a lot of skips. He has a lot of skips.
His most rap heavy album is If You're Reading This. That's his most rap heavy. There's a lot of rapping on there, not including the one with him at 21. There's a lot of rapping on there too.
Yeah, but If You're Reading This had more of like a street element to it.
Street turned up.
Club, and it, like, when I think of rap, I think of more so Tuscan leather.
Gotcha.
I think of you know what I'm saying?
Joints.
Yeah, those type of joints.
I got you.
That's what I mean more so. If You're Reading This felt like a mixtape more so.
I agree.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So
he had several classics to answer the question.
Yeah. Now, if you're talking about music, Drake has timeless music.
Oh yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? I went literally, it was this club called the Graveyard. I don't know if it's still open. It's the bar called the Graveyard in Atlanta. I didn't even know that it was Drake night. They were playing nothing but Drake, and me and my homeboy was like, damn, they playing a lot of Drake 4 hours straight.
Bangers.
This was like 4 years ago. I want to say 4 years ago.
Bangers.
And I was like, Drake has. I think the only other artist who has music like that would be probably Snoop, to where it's different vibes. You could get gangster shit. You could get something to make you dance.
Facts.
Some R&B-ish type of thing. Snoop's catalog is huge, you know, because
It is.
Snoop got pop records. You know what I'm saying? I think Snoop is like the only one besides outside of Drake as far as a rapper. You know what I'm saying? If you play Jay-Z all day, you're gonna get tired of it.
Yeah, maybe Kanye, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I get Kanye. I give Kanye maybe.
Yeah.
I'm just saying Snoop because, you know, Snoop just his shit. Kanye start leaning towards like alternative shit sometime, I feel like.
I agree.
Yeah, you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But yeah, Drake, as far as that goes, yeah, it's all the way. You said nothing was same embodies portions of So Far Gone comeback season, yet it's still bar heavy. Yeah, I feel that way too. For sure.
That album is crazy, and it has slow songs on it. That's the thing. I want everybody to understand. Whatever Drake album you feel, you're like, man, I don't know about his shit. He need to go back to. It has slow songs on that. So he's singing too much. That to me, that argument is way overrated. Like that, people run that into the ground. He is 64. He's like an Arnold Palmer, bro. His albums are an Arnold Palmer. They're 60-40. Maybe 65-35. That's been that way since day one.
True. But the difference is he sings, right?
Yeah.
Ja Rule used to sing.
For sure.
Nelly sang.
50.
Bone Thug sang. 50 sang. Yeah. But when they did it, it wasn't like straight up singing. They more so harmonized on records. And even if they did, like Bone, that Buddha Lover song, that's an R&B song.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Choruses and everything. But the thing is, they did it in a fucking smooth ass gangster way to where it was cohesive with the rest of it. It didn't feel like that was that much different from First of the Month. You know what I'm saying?
Because they use those elements throughout their music. Same for Nelly, for sure. That's what makes Drake so crazy, because Controller and Nonstop are like two different people.
Completely. And it takes you out to where you just like, you know, like I can't listen to this and this at the same time. You know what I'm saying? Like it's too much variety. And I feel like he doesn't make cohesive albums. He can make cohesive music, but not cohesive albums. So I think that's what takes me out of the element for that.
That's a respectable argument. Although I think if it's high quality, then it's high quality, in my opinion. But I get what you're saying, and it's the same person, so they're coming from the same perspective. It's not as if he's rapping from a Snoop perspective on one and then a Kendrick perspective, or whoever far left you want to go on the other, Fergie.
Right.
Like it's still coming from the same perspective. That's the thread that keeps it together for me.
Right. Absolutely. If you are watching this right now, please hit the like button for the algorithm. Hit the heart button if you're on Facebook, and make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that share button, y'all. Hit that. We're having a great conversation right now. Oh yeah, Goat, you said Choosy Lovers, Isley Brothers, one of the best samples of hip hop. Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. Bone. I can say this about Bone. Bone mixed with Isley Brothers is always a win.
Yeah,
I'll say that for sure. Now let's talk about something serious. Since we're talking about the lack of Drake.
Yeah.
Drake. So right now, let me get this out. Rap is down 40% in sales. Juicy J calls for a meeting. Now, Juicy J made this post. And I guess surrounding all this Drake stuff, this ends up coming up. This is fair use, by the way. Let's listen to what Juicy J had to say. Not the whole thing, but just listen to some of it.
I know a lot of people don't want to hear this, but I'm being real.
Why does this nigga have a bonnet on? That's
That's taking me out. I'm not gonna hold you.
Right. He looked like somebody's grandma, but anyway.
Rap music is down 40% this year. Let me say it again. Rap music is down 40%. Check the charts. Check the math. I don't make the rules. I do not make the rules. It's down 40%. What are we as rappers, producers, composers, etc. gonna do about this shit? Because it's down 40% this year. Charts,
All right, so that's basically what he had to say about it. What are we gonna do? He was talking about like having a meeting and all this other stuff. What do you think the reason being is for it being down 40%, CJ?
First of all, I would have loved some receipts, but and some clarity in terms of in what aspect is, because 40% is a lot.
That
if
is
something's up 40% or down 40% in 1 year, that's huge.
That's almost half, right?
That's a big deal. So I would love some clarity and some specificity. But I will say this: I saw two comments that stood out to me in regards to this. Someone said, y'all aren't making art anymore. A lot of y'all need to relearn what art is. Then you may be able to create something of value. That was one piece. The second most interesting thing I saw was someone said sales are down, but streams aren't. Y'all got to demand more from these streaming services. They're getting rich off artists and only paying them half a penny. So here's the two things I took from that. One, people are saying that what you're creating isn't of value anymore. I disagree with that. Two, saying this, the streaming sites, I think they have hurt the game because people don't see a lot of money from those streams. So they're not going to put a ton of effort into the material just to get 1/18th of a cent.
That's true.
Off of the song.
That's true.
Or off of the album. They may put effort into a club song that they can tour off of.
Oh, yeah.
But why put in all of this investment when the streaming money is not the same as when you were selling them and getting $8 off the CD out of your trunk or hand to hand or whatever the case may be? I think people are more aware of that now. Now, me personally, I don't know if it's either the art or the streaming services because I personally think people are just distracted. We're being pulled in several different directions. I can name you a couple of albums off the top of my head that came out in the last 4 weeks that are great bodies of work that no one is talking about. Nick Grant shit is great bodies of work. Killer Mike shit is a great body of work. I think Reason's joint is a great body of work. There is material out here that is here for our consumption. But bro, in this phone, in the palm of my hand, I have access to damn near every song that's ever been recorded. I have access to every show that's ever been filmed, every movie that's ever been shot, every podcast that's been recorded, and every book that's ever been printed. I have it all right here. And I'm being pulled in each one of those directions every single day. So therefore, the music, I have more distractions now than ever. That is, to me, is the biggest thing. So our attention span, if something doesn't grab us immediately, we revert back to something that we're familiar with or that we already know. And I believe that plays a major part. Is there trash music out? Of course. There was trash music out in 2013, 03, 93, and 83. There was always trash music out. It's just that there's more of the trash music because the floodgates are open, but that also means there's more good music. You just have to dig through the trash music, which you always had to do because you can't trust the radio.
True. The difference back then was fans weren't trying to be rappers. You know, now it's more. Now. Yeah, it's a hustle. It's more accessible, and I agree with everything that you said. It's a lot more distractions. But I also feel like the talent level, the TikTok instant success, that has a lot to do with it. And just the overall creativity behind it. Like, I know I ain't gonna get a lot of I'm not gonna get a lot of money for this. So I could just do what everybody else is doing. And I feel like that's what Drake ran into at this point. I could give people what they say that they want, or I could just stay with where everything is at and still be successful. Because at the end of the day, I'm still gonna go platinum. You know what I'm saying? And people may revisit this or whatever, but I'm not gonna try to push the culture forward and do anything else. Now, thing is, I also feel like every few years we have somebody that kind of leads the way and push the culture forward. I don't know if I said this on one of my last shows, but Pop Smoke was our ticket. I personally feel like he was the next it factor.
I agree.
Every 4 years, there's somebody that either pushes the culture forward or it's a new star. The last one before Pop Smoke had came out, before he died, I feel like was Cardi. You know, now I'm not saying she pushed the culture forward, but I feel like she had that buzz. It's always it's a lot of times New York niggas for some reason. Nicki Minaj.
They got the biggest market though.
Yeah, Nicki Minaj, 50 Cent, DMX. Like, it always be some New York savior to come and do something. And I feel like Pop Smoke had gave, notice everybody started doing the drill shit.
I agree.
After him. Heavy doing the drill shit. But it is.
He had already switched it up by then too. Did you peep that?
Well,
he was already he was already straying away from that and doing like more some of the harmonizing with 50, and so he was about to go away from that when he got.
Yeah,
I thought he
that
had
album,
talent. Yeah.
That was one of my favorite. I forgot what the name of the album was with the black cover and shit. Like
Beat the Woo.
I forgot, but he had the Woo on there. He had 50 Cent executive produced that.
Okay, yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
That album was banging, and it wasn't just the drill shit. I was like, damn, he's like a certified hit maker, but he was gone too soon. Yeah. So we lack superstars. We don't have any more superstars. There used to be rap stars. These like Sexy Red is not a rap star. No. She's a shock value whore. You know what I'm saying? Everything is shock value. And it kind of goes into what Walo was talking about too. Walo, and I'm not going to read all of this, but he had a letter to the rap game. And I know you cracked up about this. But he said, in the landscape of the rap industry undergoing a remarkable transformation, it's becoming increasingly evident that today's fans have become more discerning and sophisticated in their tastes. Yet this is kind of true because, you know, a lot of with the Drake thing, I feel like a lot of people have been super critical with Drake. But it says, yet it's intriguing to observe that many artists' teams have yet to catch up with this evolving dynamic. The era of relying solely on flashy jewelry, ostentatious, what is that?
Ostentatious
fashion choices, references to drugs, and flaunting firearms to capture attention is fading into obscurity. What truly resonates with the audiences now is not the gimmicks, but rather the power of authentic, no pun intended, high quality music. Blase skip the numbers, particularly those on platforms like YouTube, Spotify, Apple Music, and painting a starkly different picture. They reveal it's not the manufactured motion or shock value that propels artists to the forefront, but the quality of their music and the genuine connection they establish with their listeners. I'm gonna just go all the way to the bottom. In the essence, the rap game is experiencing a significant metamorphosis, and artists and their teams must adapt to this new reality by prioritizing musical authenticity and the cultivation of a devoted fan following, rather than relying on outdated gimmicks and manufactured trends. I wish you all the best. That was Walo's letter to the rap game. CJ, what you think about that?
Yeah, I don't know why the letter to the rap game is funny to me. I don't know who he's expecting to respond to that, or who he was speaking to in particular, or whatever the point was. I do like Walo though. I think he has good intentions. Mm-hmm. Look, I feel like we've had this conversation before. We have this conversation once every so often. The sky was falling in 2008 when Nas said hip hop was dead. Mm-hmm. The sky was falling when Soulja Boy came out. People couldn't believe Ice-T head almost exploded off his shoulders when Soulja Boy came off. Like, this is the end. It would never. This is over with. When ringtone rap came, we had the same conversation, man, dude. And you play though, and I know you're a DJ. You play some of those ringtone rap songs, it's gonna shake the club today.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was fun.
Yeah,
people have to lighten up and relax a little bit. We have to understand there's a lane for the fun stuff. There's a lane for the serious stuff, and then there's everything in between. There's a spectrum in between. There's a bigger spectrum now in rap than ever. Before, and maybe let's say 2000, late 90s, there may have been a handful of lanes that you could be in. And even then, there were unsung heroes that didn't get the attention that everybody wanted them to get.
Yeah.
So different now, except there's 20 lanes instead of 5. And you get that, and they're all crowded. So that's the thing. And the same stuff that's getting played on radio now is the same bullshit that got played on radio 20 years ago. We was all looking at the radio like, dog, what is this? Like, that died with Pac and Dear Mama and all of that. That died then. Like, so it's been gone. I think there's enough for people to consume if they just have to dig through the garbage or dig through what they're not interested in. I won't even call it garbage per se.
Yeah.
Because again, the older people said that about our shit when we were younger. I came up listening to P. You couldn't tell me P wasn't the shit to me.
Right.
You want to know older people said about P? Bro, what is this? The rap game is dead. That's a hook. Oh my God. The world is ending. Everybody said that. It wasn't ending. It just wasn't your cup of tea. It's okay. You wanted KRS-One. That's perfectly fine. The game is evolving. That's all I'm saying.
But the thing is that you have balance. And I feel like with the raunchy material, I think that social media has a lot to do with it. See, thing is, back then, it wasn't I'm doing this for attention. It was more so I'm making this music to hit to whoever it resonates to. I feel like nowadays it's more so off of I want to, like Sexy Red, for example.
Okay.
Her job is to say the most, it ain't no talent, no skill. It's to say the most raunchy, ratchet shit that you sexual, hypersexual thing shit you could think of, i.e. her peaches and eggplant verse.
There's a little bit of skill. There's this much.
Where?
Because she does have a handful of you can say that if she only had, if we were still talking about the Pound Town, if there was one record, then you could say that. But if you've got 3 or 4 that people are gravitating to, there's an audience for it, and there's some type of skill there. There has to be, or there wouldn't be 4 records that are going crazy.
Well, the thing is, shock value could go crazy because of what she's saying in the shit.
But she's not saying nothing that ain't been done before, though, bro.
Well, okay, on a broad level, mainstream, because I saw this post the other day that said Trina, Sexy Red is this generation's version of Trina. I don't think that Trina and Sexy Red were the same person. The content, it was the same content. The content is the same. However, how Sexy Red is marketed and promoted, right? Trina wasn't, her singles weren't just talking about my booty hole brown, my pussy is this. Trina still had some type, she had sexual content. Lil' Kim had sexual content, but it was more so I can make a Sprite can disappear in my mouth. Like, we know what the hell that meant, but it wasn't, nigga, I'll give you head. I ain't, because it don't even feel comfortable coming out my mouth. But you know what I'm saying? If you say I can make a Sprite can disappear in my mouth, we know what she said. How many licks does it take to get to the center of it? We know what that means. You know what I'm saying?
It's not as straightforward.
Yeah, now it's more edgy. See, and even Megan would talk shit, but she said, "Eat my ass, you a bottom feeder." Creativity, it's straightforward. You know what I'm saying?
People hate that too, though, man. That gets hated on a lot too.
No, trust me, it gets hated on a lot. But you open up the door, and I've done a show about this. That WAP, of course, opened up the door for Sexy Red to be like, "Oh, this is how y'all doing it? Okay, STL, I could go harder with this." And you can, I bet you, any day now we're gonna see another Sexy Red, and Sexy Red gonna be forgotten about.
More than likely. More than her 15 minutes. They've extended a little bit longer than I expected because she does have a couple of joints that are popular. The Ski Yee is what put it over the top, though.
Yeah, the Ski Yee. I give her that. But
and that's not a super sexual song either, though.
Yeah, no, that ain't. But December, I think it'll probably be over with. The latest January. No, I'm saying just from how things go. You know what I'm saying? Even Glorilla. My homeboy was saying, man, she gonna be here for a minute. I said, I don't know.
I'd be surprised. I will say that. I'd be surprised.
No, it's a wrap. No.
Things have happened.
For Glorilla, it's a wrap for her. Like it's done.
Cha.
Over. Oh, Sexy Red came and sold it up. It's over with for Glorilla.
Possibly, but Sexy Red is just a descendant of City Girls. Like City Girls opened that door up, bro.
City Girls and Megan, in my opinion.
But Megan is more. Megan can rap though. Megan, if you tell Megan freestyle over this beat right here, she can rap. I don't know if Sexy Red, I don't think that's she's not that type of artist. But those types of artists have always existed. That's all I'm saying.
Who was the version of a Sexy Red though? Who?
I was like a Young Miami, bro. That's here.
Well, okay. I'm talking about like before City Girls.
I think I can yell, man. I don't know. Put it in your mouth.
I'm just saying. Okay, go. You said back then it was I got a story to tell. These days it's I got a story to sell.
No, it's a hustle. Now let's be clear. Once you saw street dudes become CEOs, and like you could argue that started with P. You know what I'm saying? Because he wasn't the most talented rapper, but he was a hustler.
I'm a hustler, not a rapper.
That became cool. Jeezy. That became cool. You know what I'm saying? Like these cats, Shawty Low, like these cats didn't have the most talent. OJ the Juice Man. They sound like they fresh out the trap. Yeah. But they had a catchy hook and a dope beat. And so they got through the door. And so when people see that, they mimic it, they copy it. You're going to get that. You're right. You're going to get 10 other Sexy Red attempts soon. Just same way you got Jeezy clones and D4L clones and all this extra shit. You're going to get that. Because it's a hustle. There's a lot of money to be made, bro. It's the American dream. Do something, get paid to do something that you would do for free. That's the American dream, in my opinion.
But the thing is, I think with what's going on now, it's not generating the money like it used to, i.e. tours. You know what I'm saying? Record sales. Sexy Red don't sell records. Well, I say sell records. The little EP, or no, it was an album that came out, charted like 100 number 122.
Yeah. That don't mean nothing though, bro. That don't mean nothing.
Oh shit, it means a lot.
Nah, bro. That's just a vehicle to get your all that is. People are using the music now to get their name out there, and they can monetize it 72 different ways off of that.
That's true, but when I'm purely talking about the music, though.
Gotcha. Okay, gotcha.
I'm talking about the music.
Gotcha.
Like, if you're talking about putting out music, selling records, doing tours, or whatever, it's a reason that the old school artists are outdoing the new school artists right now. New school artists, a lot of them got to cancel their tours, and that's how a lot of artists still get paid. Now, I agree with you. Sexy Red could do a fucking reality show. You know what I'm saying? She gets different ways to get paid. Yeah. But the music, as far as what Walo and everybody else is talking about, it is getting to a point where it's just like the almighty Drake didn't drop. And it's like now he always got criticized, but now it's like everybody's just like, damn, like shitting on Drake. Yeah. And this is the most he's been shitted on in a good minute. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think this is the most I've seen. I've always seen people make fun of him, but this album,
yeah, it is. It's at its peak. But people have been waiting. Let's be honest. It happens all the time with the person at the top. People get tired of you winning, dude. Like, whether you're a fan or not, people don't like to see the same person win over and over and over and over and over again. When your other favorite artist is not getting the looks, when you're not winning in life, or it's a fucking recession going on. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
bro, niggas get tired of seeing the same person win over and over. Nobody want to see Brady get his 10th ring. Bro, niggas get tired of that. I want my team to win. Can my team win once? That's how people start to look at things, bro.
Yeah, that's also true. I'll give you that. Okay, Tim said there's also less structural and gatekeepers in the industry. We have hand-to-hand combat with consumers, which has tremendous value. However, on the back end, it has devalued certain areas of the game.
He's preaching.
Absolutely.
There's a give and take with not having gatekeepers. There's pros and cons, because remember, having gatekeepers was a complaint.
Yeah.
Oh, nobody will listen to me. I'm dope. Nobody will listen to me. Yep. Now I can upload it to SoundCloud, or SoundCloud a couple years ago, or YouTube now and be on tomorrow. Mm-hmm. That's supposed to be a good thing. I mean,
right.
In theory.
But back when the labels had it, or the gatekeepers per se, and it was controlled more. And believe it, there still are gatekeepers now.
Of course,
you know people still. There are people behind algorithms. I don't feel like everything is as free. Now, Reels, you still could have something go viral purely, naturally, and stuff like that, but you still do have gatekeepers that decide what's out, what gets pushed. Agendas are still out here, so I feel like that has a lot to do with it too.
Let me ask you this: the Juicy J, he said, "Man, we need to come together, figure something out." But who needs to be in that meeting? If they called you, hey, we're trying to fix the rap. The rap game is down 40% in whatever metric he is basing that off of. We still don't know. This down 40%. Red, who do we need to be in this meeting? Exec, producer, rapper, whoever, whatever. Name a couple, one. Who needs to be in it?
Producers, mainly.
This one in particular?
I'm not even saying one. I feel like a lot, all of them, like OGs and younger artists. Younger producers. The reason I say producers are more important is because the producers create the sound, and the big reason, it ain't just the rappers, bro. Me as an artist, it was a point in like 2009, 2010. I never worried about production.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, this is before I was on beat sites and shit. I knew somebody who was producing, and they actually were good producers. Some of them were beat makers, but they were producers. We're missing production. We have a lot of beat makers. Juicy J talking about it, but honestly, everybody's mimicking what 3 6 did 30 years ago.
In terms of the tempo, the BPMs and
the BPMs and stuff.
Yeah.
Yes. If that was better, Kanye said this on his Drink Champs. What was it, like the year before last? He was saying the vibrations feel like all of them are purposely low. That's why you have so many people on this vibe stance and this drill shit, this shoot 'em up, bang bang, my ops, all this shit. Everything is pretty much the same. It's the same. And I'm a DJ, you know what I'm saying? So I noticed this. Like those, like the Peaches and Eggplants beat. It's a cool beat.
But it's hard.
Yeah, the beat hard, but it's like a certain element to it to where it's not like my favorite production right now is the West Coast production, as far as like the DJ Mustard sound, because it gives me some type of energy. It's kind of different. It kind of reminds me of like the Bay sound.
Right,
It's
I got
different. You know what I'm saying? But the production from everybody that's been coming out, I feel like the producers do need to sit and meet together. That's a start, in my opinion.
Okay. Yeah,
Because
that makes sense. That makes sense because they can liven up. You can change the mood with the beats. But I just
because let me say this, because as an artist, when I hear a beat, it brings me out to create better. Versus if I just I was trying to rap to some beats and I'd be writing to this shit. I'm like, yeah, it could sound good, but what do I get out of it? You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck. I mean, I do care if it pays me a lot, but I wouldn't feel good as an artist if I didn't really go in there, you know what I'm saying, and do what I feel like I have the potential of doing. Low BP, like low vibrations can bring out the worst out of somebody, in my personal opinion.
So if they would have came to you with the peaches and eggplant beat, and the hook, and then they're like, yo, this is yours. Are you saying, nah, I'm good?
To that one, yeah, I don't, that's not me.
That's fair. No,
that's not me. You know what I'm saying?
Can you understand the 99 other people that are behind you that would take that?
Yeah, absolutely. But J. Cole wouldn't take it.
Maybe not.
Kendrick wouldn't take it.
But no, when he was Versace shirt J. Cole at the BET Awards, he might have.
No, that's when J. Cole was the most different back then. Shit.
Not when him and French Montana, the Spider-Man meme, pointing at each other.
That was Identity Crisis J. Cole as far as the look, not the music. You know what I'm saying? This J. Cole adapt to the sound more than ever now. You know what I'm saying? So the peaches and eggplant. I'm like, yeah, it's cool, but I feel like it ain't that song, like a Bad and Bougie, for example. Metro Boomin did his thing on that one, but whoever did peaches and eggplants, I don't know if it'll have the same impact that Bad and Bougie does 5 years later.
It won't.
You know what I'm saying? It won't. But that fucking Bad and Bougie, I throw that shit on. I know it's like the way it was paced right. You know what I'm saying? It was just pulled together right.
But would you consider that? I want to know from people in the chat right now. Would y'all consider Bad and Bougie? What, like, y'all need that right now in the game? Is that what's missing? I feel like people would argue that ain't what they talking about. When that's not Walo was talking about in the letter to the rap game.
Well, no, I just
brought a good song.
Yeah, I just brought that up as an example, but not like
I got you.
You get what I'm saying? Like, but shout out, you said I think producers have a huge part to play in how the music is coming out today. Exactly, bro. Do you know who produced Girls Them Sugar by Beanie Man?
Neptunes.
Exactly. A lot of people don't know that.
Yeah.
The reason they don't know it is because how crazy that sound was. It didn't sound like they did it unless you really listen to it.
No, for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
Yeah. But and then shout out to Michael. You said that beat was almost can't miss. Yeah, I think you're talking about the Bad and Bougie beat. I think that's what you're talking about. Yeah. But I think the production, you know what I'm saying? Artists don't need to meet up because artists, you can't really do too much as an artist if the sound ain't gonna change. I'm gonna just keep it a buck. And I'm not saying go grab Timberland. I'm not saying go grab Pharrell. These new people who are coming up out here, man, take more time on these beats.
They hustling too, bro.
They hustle. That's what I'm
hustling too.
I go to a beat site. Just type in hip hop beats. Go to it, and they'll label the shit Drake type beat.
Agreed.
Young Nutty type of beat.
He freestyled on one of them.
Man, back when Timberland and them was producing, now they could make a beat with Jay-Z in mind and all this other shit, right? But they went in making art, and whoever sounded the best for it, they would give it, or they would have it on. I used to get beat CDs. That's show you how long I've been rapping, but the beat CDs, and you hear the shit, you just like, damn, I know I could kill that. But if I'm going and you already making the beat that's going to sound just like it's made for Drake, I probably ain't gonna want that shit.
That's fair. Yeah, I agree, because it's just you're just copying what's popular. You're not trailblazing, setting no trends.
Yeah, setting no trends and nothing like that.
This is an interesting comment right here, though.
What is that?
TRM Williams, and he said, "No, we're missing people working on quality of music for the love of it." I agree, but would you argue Nas is doing it for the love of it with this Hit Boy run? Would you consider that like a passion project?
Yeah.
Will we be talking about that in 2 years? Honestly, does that stick
to Nas fans, not the whole game?
That's what I'm. So then, if he's doing it for the love, and it will only resonate to his people, artists are already doing that. Sexy Red is already resonating. It's only resonating to her folks, whoever they are. Eastside St. Louis stand up. Shout out to y'all. They're already doing that. Larry June is already talking to his people. Everybody has pockets. We got the letter to the rap game where the whole rap game gets on one accord. We can't do that as black people, period. So why are we even trying to do that as a genre? There will be lanes and pockets, and I think people just got to find a tribe and hope that there's a surplus of artists that will feel that what you're looking for in that particular lane. The whole game, trying to get on one accord with that, you can cancel that.
No, because the young people are too far removed.
I agree.
I think that it starts with the youth. Everything starts with the youth. When I say that, I'm talking about there. Okay, let me say this.
I don't know. It's a new day in rap now, bro.
Yeah. What I'm saying is, as far as a movement, like there could be a 34, 35, even a 40-year-old that comes out with a banging single, something to blow up on TikTok. No, we in the social media age. A fucking 50-year-old can have a hit single.
Yeah, tomorrow,
right?
Yeah.
But when I say the youth, when you're young, you're more like Pac said this. Did he say this on the Kendrick Lamar at the end of Kendrick Lamar's album from that interview? He was like, when you 20, 25 and younger, that's the time you're in the warrior class. I'm paraphrasing what he said.
Right.
Warrior class, you're more energetic and shit. By the time a man didn't turn 30, you kind of settled. You didn't already feel defeated by the system, all this other shit. Now, I'm not saying that men who are 30 plus, like myself, can't make banging music, but I'm talking about as far as like a whole movement. The youth always energizes.
I agree.
The culture.
I agree.
The fashion sense comes from the youth typically. You know what I'm saying? So if you get these younger folks to really come to one and become better producers first,
for sure,
helping that sound come up with a different sound. That's what hip hop was started by the youth.
Absolutely. I think the only difference is now is that that's not the only place you have to look.
True.
There are several artists now 40 plus that the stigma of age and rap. Jay broke that door down.
Oh yeah, that's
dead.
Yeah, that's dead.
So that has widened, that has extended the age of the genre, in my opinion, because now someone can put out. That's why you just said all these legacy acts touring, and then my channel does legacy acts. You know what I'm saying? Like, bro, people eat it up. They're excited for that nostalgia because it's a day and age where we can do that. In 2000, bro, nobody was checking for 40 plus was a joke.
For
that
real.
was a punchline.
Cameron and them used to joke about that shit all the time. Jay-Z, old. They tried to say Jay-Z was so old, but he kept going. To this day, I feel like
to him when he was 38.
Right.
Wayne said, "You 38, I can murk you and come on when I'm 38." Like that was a joke. You were old.
It was a joke. Now Jay-Z did break that. Jay-Z broke that. And like I said, it's to the point of 50, and because we got the internet. If it's jamming, people will be like, if a Sexy Red can make it, a 51-year-old man.
That's what I'm exactly.
Definitely make it.
So that I can't look to the youth. People argue there's no superstar under 30. I don't think we need one. That's in my opinion. I don't think we need one. Not to the extent of, man, every 5 years it's usually one. Maybe we'll need one in every 8, but I don't think it's the same cycle. I think that's extended just a little bit because of you can rap well into your 40s now and not look crazy.
True. That's true.
But we don't have a superstar under 30 though. Let's be clear. Travis Scott's the closest.
Yeah, we don't. we definitely don't have no superstar under 30. That shit is a wrap. The superstar
Lil Baby was close.
Who?
Lil Baby was close.
He was close,
but that ain't it. He ain't it.
Nah, it's a wrap. That shit is a wrap. Lil Baby I'll tell you this, Lil Baby is a rap. Glorilla is a rap.
Yeah.
I did a whole video talking about that. But one last thing that I'll talk about, man, because we've been going in. This has been a great conversation. If y'all are watching right now, hit that like button. What are you waiting on? Hit that like button or the dislike button if you're watching this on YouTube. It's all good. But do that so we can help that algorithm out. But one more thing I want to cover. Diddy. Diddy, man. Is Diddy at risk for going to trial, going to court over this Tupac thing? Now, this has been heavy in the media, especially since 50 Cent then came out, and he doubled down on it at a show. I was in the gym and I saw that shit. So allegedly Diddy was involved in Tupac's murder. He offered Keefe D $1 million to kill Tupac. Now it was a recording of Keefe D revealing that. This whole thing is just weird, bro.
Yeah.
Like it's just, but I don't know. Somebody had told me that Diddy was trying to leave the country, talking about going to Europe. I don't know how true that is, but what's your take on it?
First of all, I find this so funny because this news is so old. And I mean old in terms of it's been released. This was released on the documentary Murder Rap, came out in 2014, 2015. That was done by the detective that's been working on this ever since it happened.
Yeah.
Those tapes are from 2007. Keefe D has laid this out 100 times before. Nothing will happen to Puff. Puff is a billionaire or close enough, 100 billionaire, super global superstar icon. Keefe D is a convicted felon gangbanger with a jacket as long as anybody else that is on that type of wave. And he is the one voice that is saying this about Puff. They are not going to, the DA is not going to risk taking an L and embarrassing themselves, going to trial or trying to put charges on Puff on the word of him. That's not going to happen. Puff is going to sleep good at night the same way he's been sleeping these last 30 years or whatever the fuck. So he has nothing to worry about. Now, do I think there's some legitimacy to the story? I could see that, though. And real quick, for people that don't know, he said that Puff was feeling the heat from Pac and Suge and kind of gave one of those, man, if we could get this dude off of our back, man, I got a meal, man. I got a meal. What now? You do what now? You got what? Man, I got a meal. And so when the stuff went down in Vegas, that kind of sped up the process because of the fight in the MGM. That sped up the process. Man, we can get this nigga now. And so that was but Puff never paid. He paid, allegedly. He paid his Crip Connect, who was supposed to pay Keefe D, but instead they ran off with the money. So there's no connecting money trail either. So that's strike two. So it's not going to happen. But it's a very intriguing story, and I understand why it's fascinating.
Yeah, because a lot of people were saying, okay, all of a sudden they're arresting Keefe D after this man then talked about it. Vlad has solved this murder. Vlad has solved this murder like years ago with Keefe D, right?
The documentary solved it before Vlad.
But Vlad literally has interviewed everybody who knew Pac had anything to do with Pac and surrounded that murder. But the thing is, some people were saying, okay, maybe they're arresting Keefe D for a couple of reasons. One, it's a big fish they're trying to get, meaning somebody, not just Puff, but somebody else could be involved.
Right.
And then number two, elections. You know what I'm saying? Like whoever is, in charge during that time, or look, I got Tupac's murder solved. So this could be a political thing. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. But the fact you never know what can happen. So I would lawyer up. Diddy can afford it. You know what I'm saying? So, but you never know with this, because I just found it kind of odd. Why now? Keefe D has been talking about this forever. We've been seeing about this stuff forever. And honestly, bro, people, I ain't gonna say everybody, but people knew who did it back in the 90s.
It was the worst kept secret in LA.
Yeah, it was just kept secret. So maybe somebody in law enforcement didn't keep up the money that they were supposed to pay, and that date expired, and they're like, okay, let's go ahead and arrest who we're gonna arrest. I don't know, but something seems very fishy about this whole Keefe D thing.
The timing is very strange, even though you could argue he's been talking. So maybe the timing isn't strange because he's been talking about it for the last couple of years. And so we know it takes a minute to build up a case. They clearly have been taking their time. Pac been dead for 30 years.
Right.
I will say, here's the tricky part if you're Keefe D. I've heard that he had cancer when he wrote the book, which is why he started talking, because he didn't know how much time he had left anyway. So there's a piece to that. The second piece is he's the lone survivor in the car from the 4 people that were in it. So there's 2 ways that could go. One, you could be the hero because you're the last man standing. You can tell the story however you want. But then on the flip side of that, you're the last man standing. So you're the last one we could point the finger at. And that's exactly what the police are doing. I don't think they need a big fish. I think we caught the guy who killed Tupac is the biggest fish that they can catch. Nobody gives a damn what the name is attached. I've been peeping social media. Apparently nobody has heard these tapes or watched this documentary before, because people are shocked right now at what's going on. And I just so happened to catch it. I'm not saying I know it all, but I'm just saying I saw the documentary when it came out. Yeah. And I was like, and my mind was blown then. So I get it. But it's very interesting. He has told the story, and what made his story so believable is the small things, the non-sexy details that he gave of the account of things that happened that no one else had ever come with at the time in 07. So that's what makes his story believable. Where the rental car came from, the girls that were screaming behind Pac. No one had said this. This was the news reported. The police didn't know. This was all new. And so when he gave those details, it's like, oh shit. So he painted the picture. Yeah. So I believe him personally. He may be lying on a couple of pieces, but I believe him for the most part of how it went down.
Yeah, absolutely. It'll be interesting to see how this all goes forward. Like I said, everything the time is just real crazy right now for that, all this to be happening. But
it's probably political, bro.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm leaning more towards the political aspect of it, but because
it makes him look good, bro.
Yeah, you said if they're not going to arrest Trump because he's a billionaire, they won't arrest Puff.
They're not even gonna try to arrest Puff, bro.
Well, Puff is black, so I wouldn't compare Puff to Trump. Puff is black, so I wouldn't go that far.
But they're not though, bro. It's not. They'll look stupid, bro. That's an uphill battle. Taking the word of him, that's not gonna fly, bro. That's getting shut down because they would have done it by now, in my opinion.
Or
they would have done it in 07.
Yeah.
When they had his info.
But it could be a thing of time, and people fuck with it. Like when they want, like R. Kelly, they could have got R. Kelly years prior.
The documentary was what put that over the top, though.
Right, but I'm saying they put that documentary out for an agenda to get him. You know what I'm saying?
That's
just
true.
Like if they want to get you, they'll get you. Like anybody, especially if you black and you rich, they'll find some way to get you. Hey, this woman said that you did something with her back then. You drugged her, even if you didn't do it. You see how they railroaded Bill Cosby and stuff? Not saying that he didn't do what they did, but the way they did it, and it was so sloppy, they had to let his ass out.
That's true. That's true. If you take the names away from Keefy D and Puff and just have the resumes look matched, they're not. Stop, bro. You don't have a case, dude. They're gonna be like, "Nah, I'm good. We're not taking that."
Right. One more thing before we get out of here.
Okay.
Pink Friday 2.
Yeah.
That comes out next month. And I know the Barbs are excited. Well, the Barbs are, right?
Yeah.
Nicki is the last major release we're gonna have this year, from my understanding, unless somebody
comes
cold
out. Maybe that off season. I mean, that fall off. Maybe
fall off. Yeah, maybe. I wonder if he is gonna put that out. But
one of
the
last.
Yeah, she'll be the last one. I'm not anticipating it, but let me ask you this: do you think this will make or break Nicki as far as her position in the rap game? Not her superstardom, but her position in the rap game.
Nah, if it hasn't been, she solidified. She opened the door for Cardi and Meg, who are the successors of what she's the new age Kim. She blazed the trail for female rappers in this 21st. I mean, in the 2010s.
Yeah,
that's stamped. So whether this comes out and it's better than Queen, worse than Queen, but it doesn't matter. She's got the accolades. She's got the fan base that doesn't give a damn whether this is good or bad. It's going to be classic. So it doesn't matter. Now, to somebody that's me, that's a Fairweather fan, I'll check it out. I'm not necessarily anticipating it, but I will listen. I'm definitely going to check it out.
Right.
It's not going to move me in either direction either. She's one of the doper artists that doesn't have a classic, in my opinion. You could add her to the list of excluding Drake because he has several, but like Jada's, Fabs, like dope ass artists who don't have classic albums.
True.
She falls in that category, in my opinion, and I would be shocked if this one was. It would be great for the rap game.
It would, but based on the singles that she put out, no. Already she started off on the wrong foot.
I agree.
If I were to deem anything a classic, it would have been the first Pink Friday.
I agree.
If that, based off the buzz and the impact, because she had
joints on there. It's got joints on there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. That was a good album in my opinion.
For sure.
But the reason I feel like this could make or break her is because there's a lot of female competition right now. Say for instance, she comes out, Pink Friday does 140,000 the first week,
which is what Queen did.
It could go number one if nobody else is out. Say Cardi put out her album in December or January and does 200,000. Everybody gonna call her the best out, and Nicki has held her position as being this queen for so long. So and it's way more competition out there for Nicki Minaj than it was back from when Queen dropped.
It is. This is an opportunity, though. This is an opportunity for her to make a splash. That's why I said I hope it's good for hip hop's sake, because this could be a moment. Like, I feel like this happens when Future puts out music. How many clones does he have in between albums?
Oh my
40.
God. Yeah.
So when he comes out, if he has the slappers on there that give you that Future vibe that you're looking for, another person that no one is asking to grow up, but that's a whole nother story. If he's got the slaps on there that you expect, you go see that's why he's Future and that's why he's the granddaddy of this shit. And he continues to stamp himself as that. There's an opportunity for Nicki to do the same. Now, if she's on here talking about my sons, y'all, my sons, like if she on there on that vibe, it's a wrap. It's over with. Pack her up.
Yeah,
but there's an opportunity. I'm excited for that.
Yeah, but I do agree with you as far as her fan base are going to call it a classic, all that BS, you know what I'm saying? But her position right now, especially where the game is right now, and then with all these females that are out here, I feel like if Cardi was to sell more than her the first week, which she's the only one I see potential to do that. But
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it'll just be like, okay, who's the queen? You're going to see a big debate about that. You know what I'm saying? So,
and don't let it be don't let it be clearly better. Like if Cardi's is clearly better.
Yeah. That's the thing. But I can already tell you, I don't think that I ain't gonna say that Pink Friday 2 will be bad. It's just gonna be typical Nicki.
I agree.
Just like my homeboy Coop has said that the Drake album that came out is typical Drake. You know what I'm saying? So
that's fair.
Yeah. So that's how I feel about that.
I actually ran Nicki's catalog back not too long ago. I've noticed that there's only a certain much I'm going to rock with. Like there's a ceiling for me.
Yeah, no, I get it.
And I know I'm not the audience, but I'm just giving my perspective. There's a ceiling that I'm only going to rock with so much of the album.
Right.
And I've already come to grips with that. So you won't hear me come out, and if I only like 30% of it, you're not going to hear me go on social media at 6 a.m. and trash it, because I expect to only rock with about 30%. Now, if it's anything more than that, I'll be shocked. I agree with homie that commented, said Cardi B first album was better than Nicki's, and I agree. Cardi B album is actually slick banging.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Cardi. I don't like her as a rapper, but I can see why people do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's a respect thing. It's like Jeezy. I wasn't a Jeezy fan, but I understand it completely.
For
you know
sure.
what I'm saying?
No.
So yeah, versus Sexy Red, like no, trash. But anyway,
shout out to Sexy Red, man. Hey, look, she getting the money. Hey, look, invest that, flip that though, make that last forever.
You're gonna have to, because
do not spend it all in one place.
Yeah, because you know, that was a desperation attempt. That well, I ain't gonna say desperation attempt. She put that sex tape out because of Trump. I commented on that. Those Trump that was a bad look for her, and she did it. Her team did a good job by putting that out, because you didn't see the Trump shit come up so much no more. It was about
you didn't.
Yeah. So,
but to be honest, when she popped up on this Drake, you don't see the sex tape stuff either now, though.
You don't. But they needed to put that out. If she just had that Trump going and then Drake, the Drake feature, people,
it might have been a Drake call.
Could have. My homeboy said that too.
I'm taking you off the album if you don't fix this.
Right. So you got to show them your brown coochie. But anyway, y'all, thank you everybody for joining us tonight on Res View, man. We've had a blast on here, man. Great viewers, concurrent viewers as well. Everybody who's been tuning in, hitting that like button, we love it. Make sure, if you have not, subscribe to youtube.com/ResView. Even if you don't have a YouTube channel, create a YouTube channel and go subscribe. Follow me on all social media platforms at JAYR3D. CJ, give all your info.
Man, holla at your boy Animal_Brown on Instagram. Shout out my YouTube channel, Culturalist Theory. We just dropped Scarface albums ranked from worst to best today. Go check that out, Culturalist Theory. Shout out to my co-host and partner in crime, QB. We got some dope episodes coming through the pipeline, man. So, hey, and we got 100 in the can already too, man. So definitely go check that out. We appreciate it.
Bet. Hey, great show. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. As always, we do this every Tuesday night, 8:30. Make sure that you tune in. And then if you see us on social media, make sure you share it. All that good stuff, man. And again, subscribe. Hit that like button. And we'll see you all soon. All right. This is J Red, Res View, CJ. We are out.